card game ID thing as a standard. So I think you can no longer buy, or not buy, but you can no longer get a card game physical card thing. I still have mine, by the way. Right here. It's an artifact from time. For anyone who still has... Wait, where is it? This is very important. You dropped your virginity card. Official Konami card gameplay. See? I still got mine. So these are no longer available. They are retiring them because I guess there's just no purpose to having them anymore.
Oh, welcome back.
Just use Neuron. Just QR code or scan it from your phone. That's how you get registered into OTS stores and regionals, etc., etc. Just Neuron. So if you still have your virginity card, congratulations, you are one of the two remaining duelists in the world who have protected themselves from the sins of the digitalization of the universe. We have clarified Section B ineligible duelists. We clarified the policy for returning suspended persons to good standing.
Order up.
Suspended persons must contact the appropriate branch of the penalty committee in order to respect reinstatement to good standing. I don't understand what they've changed here. This has always been the case. Floor judge, what changed? We expanded and clarified the information about questions judges should and should not answer, including new examples. We separated should answer and should not answer into separate sections. Okay, this is actually interesting. Whoever reads here. Okay, so this is under section E. Okay, hold on. So sometimes people will ask a judge a question, and the judge can't actually answer your ruling question until you commit to a play because it could be considered coaching. Let's have a look here at examples. Should be answered. Duelist A has a face-off Beatrice. Well, I mean, they're banned. It currently is negated by Imperm. This is me, by the way. I'm Duelist A. Duelist B, main phase. Duelist B activates Widow Anchor targeting Beatrice. Duelist A informs Duelist B that he will not be able to take control of Beatrice. This has been negated and cannot be negated again. Call for a judge. The judge should inform the duelist that because Beatrice was already targeted, it cannot be targeted by the Widow Anchor. It's a legal activation. The judge should then fix the game state. Should not be answered. Beatrice is face up on the field and has a set Imperm. 3 or more spells in their graveyard. Duelist B turn, Duelist A activates the effect of Beatrice. Duelist B calls for a judge and shows them the card in question, asking if they'd be able to use Widow Anchor. But without informing Duelist A of the cards in question, the judge should inform Duelist B that the question cannot be answered because it could influence her decisions and therefore be considered coaching. So, you cannot ask a judge for a ruling question that would change your play. Pretty much is like the main TLDR. This has always been the case, it's just been clarified now in the tournament policy. You can't ask a judge for a ruling question in a way that would basically, like, be coaching, right? Like, if you don't know the PSET, if you don't understand mechanically how this interaction works, that's just something you should have prepared for or learned about your deck. You ask a judge, they can't tell the answer until you've committed to the play, because then at that point, you know, you're going, if the judge tells you you can't target a monster that's already been negated with Widow Anchor, you just not flip your card up, right? So, that's pretty much the big change here, I guess, is clarifying what that is. Scorekeeper should run sanctioned events using KCGN. Okay, whatever. Tournament policy stuff. Card game ID number, that's the virginity card. Tournament materials. Updated the use of Neuron for handling life points. Use of Neuron is encouraged for life point calculation, but a paper copy must still be kept in case of a disconnect. Can you disconnect from Neuron's life point calculator? Doesn't that thing work online? Offline? Disconnect? A calculator, isn't it? You don't need to be online for that, do you? We clarified the use of Neuron during tournament play. Only certain features in Neuron may be used. Undying, same thing. Alright, you cut your hair. What the hell's wrong with my hair? What, I got a fade? Is that okay? Smart devices used during tournament play must have messaging disabled and be used in full view of your opponent. And I don't know what you're gonna do with that, realistically. Like, no one's gonna follow this. Technically, I guess if you're at a tournament and you're in the middle of a duel and you do use Neuron, you should probably, I don't know, use like flight mode or something. But, like, yeah, no sexting during the duels, chaps. Unfortunate. That's 1984. It's just the way of the land. No sexting during games. Note-taking. We've had the neuron as an acceptable method of note-taking. Does neuron have a way to take notes? As long as you abide by the legal boundaries, such as mandatory effect reminders, tracking your what? I haven't logged into Neuron in a while. Is that a thing? Okay. Can you type? Like, can you write, like, full things? Lets you take notes for counters. Okay. Reporting the match. Section covers all in the match reporting. Neuron has been added as an option to report match results. This has always been a thing. I think a lot of this is, like, American related, right? Because in EU, we've been doing this for years at this point. Neuron can be used to submit match results or drop from the tournament if the TO allows it. Do Americans have Neuron at the, local level? Like, when you guys play locals in America, can you enter tournaments and report on your phone? Or is this like a super recent thing? Because, unironically, EU's been doing this for years. They have started doing it just recently, about 2 months ago. It's okay, some countries are in 1964, some are in 2025. Infractions. Suspensions from organized play. Clarified infractions happening outside of events, such as harassment, theft, cyberbullying, or gross misconduct are subject to suspension.
Amoa! It's just a normal enemy now?
Outside of a tournament can result in suspension from organized play. This is, like, slightly controversial, but your actions outside in the real world, irrespective of what they have to do with Yu-Gi-Oh, can get you banned. So, some positives to that. In the sense that, you know, if you are literally, like, you know, committing crimes or something, you know, you could just get banned, like, from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! There is a section under, political, religious opinions and comments or something, in the tournament policy that I don't really want to go into the details of, but it does technically say that posting, like, political content is technically, like, not allowed. Wait, it's not here? It's in the Code of Conduct. A different document. Code of Conduct, Konami, Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG? Community Code of Conduct. Do not post, distribute, or link to religious or political content. This includes any bashing or derogatory comments of religious groups and or political groups or affiliations. I mean, why is this in the Code of Conduct? Like, that's just not, like, clearly this isn't being enforced. I'd be banned, right, for this. I should be banned, technically. I should just not be allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? I don't know how you're, like, this is just like a catch-all safety net, I guess, so that they can kind of, like, pick and choose what they want to, point to if they ban anyone. This is new, to be fair. I don't think this is new. Pretty sure this has technically been new for a while, but, yeah, so that kind of pertains to that, which is kind of weird. Card legality section covers card legality. Mark cards, added a visual reference to determine the difference between TCG or OCG. Visual reference between TCG and OCG? In a different section, I don't see Control F OCG. Alright, anyway, so basically TLDR, realistically, the only big main change here, other than the clarifications for things like, you know, coaching and stuff like that, because that's a good example they gave about the Beatrice versus the Imperm. I don't know if that was in the document before. It was always this case, it's just been clarified more. The only new thing, kind of, is sort of like the Neuron stuff, and the Virginity Clutch, for anyone who still has that, because now that's been phased out in NA. I think it's the last region who was using the physical cards. But that's about it. Nothing major, so. Tournament policy update. Do not post politics, okay? Do not call out certain countries for committing war crimes. It's not, you're not allowed to do that, okay? That's against the Code of Conduct behavior. Just play game and activate Ash Blossom. That's all you're allowed to do. Do not do that. The ban list has dropped. We have a man list, And hopefully an elk list. That's still a card, I just made that up. Alright, so, a bunch of these cards have been banned. Never seen them before. But, a magic friend of mine was kind enough to send me some, context. So the best deck in the game right now is Zet, blue-red prowess, where you cast cheap guys that get bigger as you cast more spells. The second best is mono-red mice, who kill you on turn 3 with buff spells. That sounds miserable. Both decks use a card called Monstrous Rage to make their guys big and make blocking them useless because of Trample. The other decks in the format are Domain format mentioned. 4C Zur, which cheats big spells into play and draws off big spells using the Beanstalk. This is way too many cards. Omniscience, where you cheat the namesake spell into play, and on turn 3 it lets you ignore mana costs.
Anything else you need?
Alright. So, did any of those cards get mentioned that are banned?
Order up.
Well, shit, there it is. Monstrous Rage has been banned. It is a 1-mana instant. Target creature gets 2 till the end of the turn. Create a monster roll token attached to it. You can draw another roll on it. Put that 1 into the grave. Enchanted creature gets 1/1. What is attaching in Magic?
Else? Farewell.
So you put a creature under another creature? Is that how that works?
Welcome.
You just equip it? Okay, so it's basically an equip it just gets +2. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has Trample. If you control another roll on it, put that 1 into the graveyard. Okay. Alright, and the Trample is the most relevant part of this, I suppose.
Here you go.
Lots of damage here. Alright, we got Corey Steel Cutter here. It is a 2-mana artifact. Each equipped creature gets 1/1 and has Trample and Haste. Flurry? What's Flurry? I assume Flurry's like maybe it attacks twice?
Thank you very much.
Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 White Monk. I could name a White Monk or two. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 White Monk creature, a token with prowess. You may attach this equipment to it. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, the token gets 1/1 till the end of the turn. Whenever, so like multiple times, it can stack, I assume. Okay. Abuelo's Awakening. Return target artifact or non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with X additional +1/1 counters on it. It's a 1/1 spirit creature with flying in addition to its other types. Ooh, turning it to flying is crazy, right? Return target artifact or non-aura enchantment card from your grave to the battlefield with... Is this just Monster Reborn? And it buffs it with flying? And stats? Is that like... Are Reborn effects common in Magic? The stats don't matter. It's Reborn for the auras. Hype Moments and Aura, apparently, is the format in Magic the Gathering. It's Reborn for continuous spells. Artifact or non-aura enchantment card. Oh, okay, so you're re-equipping it. I see.
Welcome.
Okay, very cool.
The guest book is here.
Have
a
Heartfire
nice
Hero.
day.
By the way, this is like 7 bans. What is going on in that format? It can't be good. Like, Magic can't be in a good state if they have to ban 7 cards. Valiant. Also, did anyone confirm what Flurry was for me? And I guess I need to know what Valiant is. Is Valiant basically Taunt, I think? Whenever Heartfire Hero becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 counter on it. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Creatures aren't opponents, right? Just a commander reference. Flurry is a flavor word. It's not a keyword. It explains it on the card. Oh, so it's like creating a new keyword, but just putting it... Okay, right, I see. So this card becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, put a 1/1 on it. So if they try and ping this or something, it just gains 1/1. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Why is this card good? It doesn't seem like amazing. Is it comboing with something, or like... Because it doesn't seem amazing. You can target it with yourself. Oh, right, you are targeting it. Ah, okay, of course. I was thinking of it more defensively, but true, you buff it with like Monstrous Rage.
Farewell.
Which then further buffs it. And then when it dies, it's a 1 mana that just deals like 5 burn basically or something. When it gets buffed for like essentially like a 1 mana creature is just dealing that much damage in an aggro deck. That's pretty disgusting. Okay. Fair enough. Up the Beanstalk. 2 mana enchantment. When Up the Beanstalk enters the battlefield, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. When Up the Beanstalk enters the battlefield, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. So you activate this for 2 mana, and then you immediately draw a card. So kind of replaces itself.
Right.
And then I assume Big Green is a thing where you're constantly activating high-cost cards. However, I assume you're not actually activating 5-cost cards. You're probably cheating the mana of other cards, but they have a value of 5. So you're kind of getting, like, the draws out of it, right? Okay, that's... It's like having a spellbook library. Royal Magical Library, right?
Please, take
Which is
your
a shit card
time.
in Yu-Gi-Oh! But, like, you know, thematically, when it's designed for your specific archetype, that's pretty crazy. So it's pretty much like the best ramp card in green, I assume, right?
So, what do you want?
Isn't this like... I don't know anything about Magic. Again, this is purely speculation and Yu-Gi-Oh! Player perspective, but... Isn't this, like, really kind of unfair for green decks? Because I assume that deck probably doesn't... This is, like, the most important card in green. Because, like... I feel like this sounds like a deck-killing card. If you ban this. Like, some strategies might just not be viable anymore because of this ban. It's not the most important, but it's insane. There's a multicolored deck that just plays a ton of mana cheat overlords to draw a card. What is Overlord? Is that like Overload in Hearthstone?
Anything else? Doing this then?
It's insane, but green will still be good. Green itself is shit. This is the only good thing green has.
Take a seat.
It becomes very cheap, draw for 2 mana. Yeah, basically. Oh, that sounds like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck, man.
This one, huh?
This sounds like my type of deck. Drawing cards for free, that's what I'm trying to look for. A 1 mana enchantment black card, Hopeless Nightmare. When Hopeless Nightmare enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card and loses 2. When Hopeless Nightmare is put into a grave from the battle, scry 2. What does scrying 2 mean? You excavate 2 and then add 1, basically, from the top of your deck, right?
Well, I'm counting on you.
And then you can pay 3 mana to sacrifice Hopeless Nightmare. Alright.
If the Duchy finds out...
Talk as much
Is this
as you
comboing
want.
with something? Because just in a vacuum reading this, it doesn't seem that great. Like, it doesn't seem that good. Like, you activate it, and then, like, okay, sure, you're go -1 to play it.
How's it going?
And then you have to pay 3 mana to sacrifice it. You play it with bounce cards. Oh, right. So you're constantly, like... I assume you're generating a bunch of fodder, so cards that you're okay with discarding.
How's it going?
Because I assume black uses the graveyard a lot.
Say what?
And then you're just reactivating it like a couple times over the course of multiple turns, just discarding just looping your opponent's hand. That sounds so miserable to play against. Like,
Not bad.
like it's probably really fun for the black player, but against, like, playing against them, it's like, must be so unfun. Like, really unfun. Like, because there's
You
nothing,
gotta
like,
be
more
kidding.
miserable than, like, getting your hand looped. That's always, like, the worst feeling, because it's, like, random, and it is random, right? Each opponent discards a card. Okay, no, they do get to choose, but... And by the way, in
Thanks.
in Commander, this loops 3! That's absurd value, right? Is this good in Commander? It must be good in Commander. What the hell? Alright.
Not bad.
What is Suspended? Pioneer Best of 1, Tybalt's Trickery, and Historic.
Whoops.
Counterspell is unbanned. Whoa, what the fuck? Isn't this like the best blue card ever printed, and it's back in Historic? I don't know if there's any Historic players, but oh, he's back. Is this relevant? Oh, okay. You missed a card? Oh, there's another one. This comic big enough. 5 mana instant. This spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a permanent you control. Costs 2 for you targeting your own. Return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. So it's a 2 mana rebounce your spells.
Keep at it,
Move your
alright?
spells, basically. That probably have some
What
sort
do
of
you
crazy
need?
synergy when they're activated. So it's like basically you're like bouncing like 10 keys or something.
Honestly.
Oh, you want to play? You play this in like a black-blue deck? Okay. So you rebounds your
I already
nightmares.
heard the reports. Don't take unnecessary risks.
Oh,
Farewell.
you can still bounce your opponent's cards because you can target one of yours and one of theirs.
Oh?
You still bounce a card and you get the discount. And you get to reuse a card. So that's like you're like double, triple dipping.
I await your triumph.
Like double, triple dipping into the value, basically. Because that's
Oh.
crazy.
You. Items, huh?
And obviously, because it's instant, you're like dealing
I'll
with
keep
your
an eye on
opponent's
'em.
like enchantments and stuff. That's crazy. Triggers up the beanstalk. Is there a blue-green deck? Cast a spell with value. Wow,
Doing
that's
this
absurd. Wait, what happens if you target up the beanstalk? So you go like
Welcome.
magic ruling question. What happens if you go
It's amazing.
big enough? Target beanstalk.
Please.
Does beanstalk need to stay on the field
Could
to
I help
resolve,
you with anything else?
or do you still like get the draw? Beanstalk resolves first. Like Beanstalk is already on the field, and then you go on your opponent's turn. You target one of their guys. You target your own Beanstalk. I guess like it's just chain links, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like it's just chain links, right? You just so the blue resolves, it bounces up the Beanstalk, and then the Beanstalk is no longer on the field,
Thank you very much.
so that you don't get the draw.
Uh,
I assume,
welcome.
or does it still resolve in hand
I
or something
see, I
after you
see.
compulsed it? Wait, you still draw? It's broken. If you compulse Stratos, does he search in this situation? I guess yeah, but I was just Yu-Gi braining because I was thinking continuous
Excuse
spell
me?
wouldn't resolve. Well, all of these cards seem completely busted. Now what's interesting is none of them feel like one card problems per se. But maybe that's like that's like a very much a Yu-Gi-Oh problem,
You want to
where
listen?
one card you read by itself like does everything by itself, whereas in Magic, none of these cards really are that broken in isolation. They all need to
Now
be
hold
used with
on.
other things to really get their full value and stuff, so I guess that makes sense when you're kind of reading it, but yeah, there's definitely some dumb generic combos here. The worst one for sure, if I was a Magic player, I would be very happy about Hopeless Nightmare, but I think I'd be really sad about Up the Beanstalk.
Let me know if you
There
need
you go.
a guest
That's my
host
take.
here.
Drawing cards is fun. Alright, see you in the next Magic the Gathering ban list. Come on, Lewis. Ghost towns exist all across the internet and gaming space. The dead internet theory might ring true if you've ever been to Mastodon's Bronze League, filled to the brim with bots and gem farming accounts. So naturally, as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I am all too familiar with dead games. I'm kidding,
Have a
no,
nice
don't.
day.
But over on my Twitch channel, I decided to stream a real dead Yu-Gi-Oh game. A game so dead that, according to the Steam charts player activity history,
The guest
Yu-Gi-Oh! Early
is
Days
here.
collection on release peaked at a whopping